Hi guys, back with another video for you today, and I've got a very exciting fragrance to talk to you about today. It's the latest release from Zoologist Perfumes. It's Sacred Scarab. Have you guys heard about it? Are you curious to find out about it? Well, I'm going to tell you all about Sacred Scarab today. I'm also going to cut to a quick video I shot of Sultan Pasha, who I got to meet last month, although I've met him way before. And he's going to tell you a little bit about Sacred Scarab and the creation of this fragrance as well. So if you're curious to learn about Sacred Scarab, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, today I'm talking about Sacred Scarab from the House of Zoologist Perfumes, the latest release from this house. Are you a fan of this house? What is your favorite fragrance from this house? And as I said, if you're curious to learn about this and you haven't sampled it, do let me know. Put a comment down. And if you have, what do you think about Sacred Scarab? But before I get to the review, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. Yes, do let me know if you've sampled this one. I'd like to find out what everyone's reaction to this particular fragrance is. I hear that it's a pretty big hit. Are you a fan of Sultan Pasha's work as well? This is a 2022 launch. It's Sultan Pasha, the Perfumer. I would call this an amber floral fragrance or amber woody fragrance. The price is 60 ml for $210, and it comes in Extrait de Parfum concentration. And we have for top notes, Aldehydes, lemon, civet. Heart notes, we have wine accord, plum accord, blue lotus accord. Finally, in the Kyphi notes, or the base notes, we've got raisins, Olibanum, Myrrh, Galbanum, Cedar, Juniper, wine, Styrax, Benzoin, Oakmoss, Labdanum, Musk, and amber. I'm going to cut to the video with Sultan right now, and we'll come back and I will tell you all about Sacred Scarab.
Hi there, this is Sultan Pasha from Pasha Perfumes. Latest perfume for Zoologist, perfume behind Sacred Scarab. Just here to talk to you briefly about the composition itself. Just show it to you. Just bear with me. And ta-da! There you go. Now, in regards to Sacred Scarab, I did a lot of research. I had done a lot of research. And this is basically to make sure that the various facets, the top note, middle note, and the base note, specifically the base note, is representative and very accurate to ancient and representative to ancient Egyptian perfumery. So at the top notes you have lemon, aldehydes, civet, and blue lotus. In the middle you have plum, wine accord, and in the base you have Kyphi accord, and it really juxtaposes well together. The reason, sorry about this, it's falling apart, just wait. The reason why I have decided to do Sacred Scarab was because as a child, as a kid, I've always been interested in ancient Egyptian Egyptology, and for this I researched into the ancient Egyptian recipe for Kyphi, or also known as Civet in Greek. For that I went to various seminars. I've also studied various sources of Civet incense resin, made it myself, and created a very accurate representative accord of it. And I used plum because the creature itself, it looks like a big juicy ripe plum. And also for the plum I use peach lactone, which is also the Sacred Scarab beetle's natural pheromone, which it releases during the mating season. And on the top note I use blue lotus accord because blue lotus was the sacred flower of ancient Egypt, and it has that wine-like quality, wine-like facets, which really connects well with the wine and plum note of the middle and the base note of Kyphi. Regards to the composition, I would say I had to do a lot of research. I fully had to immerse myself representative of what I'm able to do, not only as an attar but as a experimental perfume, to show the world, yeah, this is I don't just do oils, I also spray perfumes, and confident enough to say I do them relatively well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the composition and look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thank you and God bless you.
Hopefully you enjoyed that quick video with Sultan. So what do we get from Sacred Scarab? So this particular fragrance is definitely an ambery fragrance and definitely also musky. Musky as in it features animalic notes, but synthetic animalic notes. They have the civet on the top notes and the musk in the base notes, so the experience does get animalic. But it's an overdose of amber, and they have ambery notes such as Labdanum, they've got Myrrh, they've got the Olibanum, and there's also Benzoin, which creates an ambery experience, but it's not vanillic sweet, so there's no vanilla here, and there's definitely a sweetness, but it doesn't get uber sweet like a sweet amber fragrance would get. But for me, up top is where a lot of stuff happens for me. So Aldehydes really dominates in this particular fragrance, and every time I wear it, I feel like I'm wearing Orange Blossom. Like there's something very, very clean and soapy and also very fizzy happening up top. The Aldehydes, I believe, is what's creating this experience, is very, very prominent up top. And it does get this lightness happening, even though it's a pretty dense fragrance. Lots of amber and dark and intense, deep, rich notes. This Aldehydes is giving this very airy quality to it, and of course also very soapy. For me, it's kind of like the combination of clean and a little dirty fighting together, because we've got the kind of animalic muskiness from the civet note up top and then also the muskiness in the base notes. So it's kind of like this balancing act of clean and dirty, if that makes sense. But very much so the soapiness and the cleanness wins out for me. And I think also in the heart notes, we've got the blue lotus that actually also kind of contributes to cleanness. There's a little bit of a watery kind of experience from the lotus accord or note that's featured in Sacred Scarab that's creating a very, very unique experience for me. The other thing is there's definitely a fruitiness here, and the kind of dried fruitiness with a little bit of like a mulled wine experience, where you've created this kind of like wine warmth for a winter kind of a, experience where you drink mulled wine. There's lots of spices in there that you've thrown in, like cinnamon. There's no mention of cinnamon, but I get like a kind of a cinnamony, spicy, nutmeggy kind of experience. But also the addition of fruits, like there's definitely dried fruits thrown in this kind of a mulled wine experience. So there's definitely like a thick compote-like experience, but more with the wine where you're drinking it rather than eating it with a spoon, kind of an experience for me. So definitely this experience is here in the dry down in the base. And then of course there's also a little smokiness running throughout it as well. But to me, even though there's a Olibanum incense smoke type experience, doesn't have like a churchy kind of an experience where typically incense fragrances can, you can experience like that. But this one, there's a smokiness running throughout it, but it's blended so well that there's traces of it that appear, but it doesn't go full-on incensey experience. Of course, the floral experience here is from that lotus note. It's very, very prominent, and as I said, it contributes to creating a more of a soapy cleanness in this particular fragrance, and it reminds me of Orange Blossom. Maybe the Aldehydes are created from Orange Blossom and neroli, but every time I wear it, I experience this experience of clean Orange Blossom neroli fragrance experience, and of course then it starts becoming dark and dense and musky and animalic and things like that. So that's the kind of experience I get with this. It's very, very long lasting, and it's a very, very unique experience as well. And I like Sultan Pasha as a person. I've hung out with him many times. I like his creations, but up until now I never really wore his creations because I don't really like to wear, attars and things like that. But as soon as this came out and I smelled it last month, I was very, very excited about it. It's definitely animalic, but it's the kind of animalic that you can tolerate. Every nose is different though, so sample before you commit to a full bottle. For me, because it has all that cleanness I don't know where I'm getting cleanness, but aldehydes I think is what's creating it. And also it's creating a neroli orange blossom effect. Like you're wearing this kind of like summer eau de cologne type of a fragrance, you know, made with neroli orange blossom, but it's also blended with so much dense notes and ambery notes and musky notes and things like that to create this interesting balance of clean and, of course, dense and maybe a little dirty as well, because you do definitely experience animalic touches, and everybody's sensitivity to animalics is different. For me, it's definitely tolerable and wearable. I like the ambery qualities here, and I like that juxtaposition with the soapiness and also with the animalics thrown in with the whole wine experience as well. So very, very unique fragrance. I do quite enjoy this particular fragrance from Sultan Pasha, so I'm hoping he'll do more fragrances in the future that are, you know, spray bottles, because I do enjoy wearing these kind of very unique fragrance experiences with all these different notes. And for me, the experience of this kind of light airiness with the fizziness of the aldehydes is a nice balance with the denseness of what the fragrance becomes, because as it's getting into the base notes, it becomes denser, more richer, more deeper, more there's definitely a depth there, but it's all very light up top with that whole contrast of the aldehydes with the civet note, and of course leading into the Blue Lotus accord. Anyway, Sacred Scarab, a great scent from Zoologist Perfumes. Definitely this one's more challenging than other fragrances, but I experience fragrances, lots of them, and there are definitely more challenging fragrances from Zoologist Perfumes. This one definitely is challenging, but it's a tolerable enough challenging. I'm going to go to Squid. Squid is an aquatic marine fragrance, whereas I have a challenging time with those fragrances, but I really love that particular fragrance. It's one of my favorites from this house, and this is kind of similar as well, whereas, you know, I have a challenging time with Animalics, but because it's using an overdose of, you know, aldehydes in here, which acts kind of soapy clean, it makes for a very beautiful wearing experience. So great release from Zoologist Perfumes, and a great creation from Sultan Pasha. It's Sacred Scarab from the house of Zoologist Perfumes. Do let me know if you've tried this particular fragrance. Are you a fan? Do you enjoy these kind of fragrances? Are you a fan of Sultan Pasha's creations? Put a comment down. I'd like to find out. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.